Hey, how are you?
Hi, how
Hey, I
are
can see you're in
you?
your studio.
I'm at home actually.
Oh, are you? Wow, looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
I had some paintings I brought back with me from Saturday's show, and I put them on the wall behind me because, yeah, why
Yeah, looks
not?
good.
Have it in my house too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
thank you.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice to have a comment. I am too, because I'm actually in my home studio as well. So for people who don't know, Karen and I both share a studio at Art Alchemy. So I was kind of going, oh, should I do the studio at the same place as she
yeah,
is? Thinking it'd be
yeah.
weird, but this is
I
probably
was
a better
thinking that
idea.
too. I was like, oh, I wonder if she'll be there, and then
Oh, I think we lost her for a little bit.
you know, next to each
Yeah,
other in the studio. But yeah,
yeah.
so this worked out.
So yeah, so you're doing Art Walk in the Square, and
Yeah,
so you have not, you obviously didn't do it last year, right? So you haven't
no,
experienced the in-person event. So
yeah.
tell us
So
about your experience so far.
So far, it's actually been great. So yeah, so I haven't done any of the larger outdoor shows, and this year, like a lot of us, this was going to be the year I was going to, attempt all of those.
Yeah.
Um, but the online stuff has been actually really great. I'm learning a lot about, how to put myself out there and push myself to go further. So the reach is really far online, which I like.
Hmm.
Some of the paintings I've sold, have gone, to like Newfoundland, or actually one of them went to Seattle, and it was just like it was kind of interesting to see like how are they finding me? You know what I mean? It's really neat. So yeah, that's been great, and the artwork in the art walk in the square has been really well put together. I know that you're on the board with the Artist Network and part of that art walk in the square too. But gosh, it's just so well organized, and the I'm going to say it wrong. The
Eventini, yeah.
Eventini site that you've partnered with for all of the artist sites. It's so well done. I'm really impressed with it, and it's so
Yeah,
easy to
they've been great
manipulate.
partners.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was really well done, and so it's nice. The site's really nice, and also I have to say, like I've had one or two little glitches, my own fault, but when I've contacted them, they've been so quick to rectify it for me. So really helpful.
Oh,
So that's
perfect.
been
Yeah,
good
that
too.
it's already stressful enough to have a whole new medium. It's nice to have some of that stress easily
Yeah, yeah,
relieved. And
yeah.
so I hear you had some work in the Art Walk Square preview, and you sold that
I
piece, right?
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank
great.
you. Again, I have no idea who the person is. I'm hoping at the end of I believe it has to stay in the gallery till the end of the show. And
Yeah.
hopefully I'll get some more information on who my, you know, client
Your new art
is.
lover
Yeah,
is.
my new art lover.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That was exciting.
So cool. Why don't
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about your work, like about your inspiration? And you work in a cold wax medium and oil, which is quite
Yeah.
unusual. So we'd love to know more about that.
Sure. So yeah, I work in cold wax and oil, and I fell in love with that technique a few years ago, taking a class with Lori Scantos. And I was doing encaustic in the beginning, and the cold wax and oil is just such a wonderful medium. It lets the oils thin them out, create all these lovely, luscious layers and luminous layers. And I just like doing that. So, like here, I'll create lots and lots of layers under there. And then I don't know if this is like the best one here, but basically I'll create lots of layers, and then I'll go in afterwards and scratch it all away and sand it and chip it, and to get some of those under layers and bring out all that juiciness underneath. And I guess that's the kind of stuff I love doing, and using stencils and just scraping and scratching and mark making everywhere.
Yeah, I love
Um,
actually coming into the studio and kind of seeing where a piece was one day, and then the next day after you've worked on it, it's completely different. It's so interesting
yeah,
to see the transition. Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of fun. I mean, it's absolutely fun for me too, because I mean, I some days I'll just sit with a painting. It'll sit for a week because I don't know where to go with it next, and other times, um, Oh, could you show us
We have
one up
somebody, actually,
close?
somebody was just asking to see your work super close,
Oh,
because they've never worked with the medium before.
I
So,
could try this
and I love your
one.
little houses. They're so cute.
Uh,
I love those
thank
little guys.
you. Yeah, those are from a series I started a little over a year ago, and that from my trip out east. So it reminded me of all the little abandoned colored buildings with the vast landscapes. Um, and I just started painting all these buildings that came to mind. For me, I see color
Hmm.
like, a lot of artists we see color so differently in landscapes than others
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, that's what I did
I think
there.
one of the things that I really like a lot about your work too, which doesn't really show up digitally like this, is just it's got a very luminous quality to it. Like it almost looks like it's glowing a bit.
Yeah.
And it's sort of
Oops.
flat, but it's luminous. I don't know if that kind of makes sense, but I think that's a really,
Yeah.
really
I'm
neat
gonna
and calming
try
effect.
and so I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but this is a
Yeah.
picture. I guess I could show you kind of up close. I wonder if I could turn this around.
Yeah, or that's fine too. Like I think the other
Okay.
thing is that you've got obviously really high-end quality photos on your Art Walk in the Square
Yeah.
store through Ventney, right? So
Actually,
certainly encourage
yeah.
people to go and look there too.
Absolutely. So I'm not sure what that person
Yeah, I think that looks
wanted
good.
to see, but I think you can, like you just said, yeah, you can absolutely go on my site or the Art Walk in the Square at the Aventiny site, and
And
so
there is
and see
still
those.
one of your pieces live if you're in Toronto at the Leslie Grove Gallery at
Yes,
Jones and
right.
Queen too, where you can go in. We
Yeah,
are open, obviously limited number of people at the same time, but certainly the
yeah,
gallery is still open for viewing.
yeah. So yeah, so
So, so
it's been
you
fun.
started doing houses, and I noticed recently you're doing more clouds and some really, really
Yeah,
wonderful cloudscapes too. You're still kind
yeah,
of playing with that series, I guess.
yeah. So this is my newer series, and the boards on this one, they have a lot of under layers. I'm stretching back so my voice sounds different, but I just wanted to give you a quick look at that. I'm kind of like propped up on my couch actually, so I can get a good, so everything can be seen and me. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, this is my newest series of my cloud series, and the same thing, just layers of the cold wax and oil and chipping away at that, and then seeing what colors are underneath. And to begin with, I don't really think about where I'm starting. I just start putting paint on the boards, on the panels, and see where it's going to go. And sometimes it's
Hmm.
just leftover paint. A lot of times it's just leftover paint. I smear it on and just create layers and layers until I see where some of those more prominent colors might be coming out. And then go from there. Yeah.
And do you think
So,
that, like, you're in a previous life, you were a pastry chef, right? So
oh, yeah.
when I see you working, I almost think, yeah, you can kind of almost the way you flip your wrist like that. It almost seems like
Uh,
that that comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never actually painted with a brush. I paint with the palette knife, which is funny, my favorite tool. I have two favorite tools. One of them is the small little palette knife I used to mask cakes years ago. I still have that. And my bowl scraper, my plastic bowl scraper. So those are actually my two favorite tools that I use. And yeah, they're great. So yes, when I'm mixing my cold wax and oils together, it does feel like I'm making chocolate is what it feels like. It feels like
Hmm.
I'm, tempering chocolate on a
Well, that's always a
marble
good place
board
to
or something.
start.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of fond memories of that too. Yeah.
Well, and also it just goes to show you too, like people can be creative and they can do some amazingly creative things without necessarily having to have all the right tools and all the right paints. And part of it is just playing until when you find something that works for you, you stay with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I know Angela
Okay.
just asked a question down there, but
Who
let's we'll,
inspires you?
we can leave that alone maybe. That's a I'm just what I'm oh it's one of those things where when you're in a job interview and they ask you that you're like oh but I'm inspired much around me I think and obviously like other artists inspire me people I've taken courses with recently I took a class with Louise Fletcher um, who's a wonderful abstract landscape artist. And I just really find a lot of inspiration around me. So the art alchemy artists and my landscapes, my travels, just more memories of all that. So
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's great. And so your Instagram handle, so that everybody who's listening can follow you,
Ah,
is
yeah. So it's at Karen Jeffrey, and it's Jeffrey .art.
.art.
So yeah,
Okay, so now you guys know where to find her. And check out through, if you go to artwalkinthesquare.ca, you'll have a link to the store, so you can see the store where there's over 100 artists that have stuff for sale, including Karen. So I encourage you to go in and check out her stuff in really close up because it's really neat. And there's also at lesliegrovegallery.ca, there's the work that's there for the preview. So thank you so
yeah.
much for joining us, Karen,
Thank
and
you. Thank you for having me. That
good
was
luck.
fun.